Welcome back, everybody, to another Typescript game engine late night coding session. Let me check the audio real quick. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me check the audio real quick. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll bring the music down a touch. There we go. Yeah, another short-ish stream tonight. I missed yesterday, sorry. I had some family stuff going on, and I've actually had some family stuff going on today too. I've got family down visiting, so yeah, I've been doing a lot of socializing today, so I'm pretty tired, but I thought I'd get in here and just do a wee bit tonight, make some progress. The first thing I want to look at and see if I can fix is this this overscroll that happens when I select different actors. So when I select the floor, I haven't exposed any properties, so we don't get any overflow here. But when I select some objects, such as the post-process volume, we get this basically entire window overflow, which is not what I want. I want the over scroll to be handled with this scroll bar. So I'm going to see if I can track down what that is. I won't spend too long on it if I can't. But yeah, I probably won't be too chatty tonight because as I said, I'm pretty tired, reasonably incoherent, but thought I was going to do some work tonight, so I thought I would bring you guys along with me. So I'm pretty much just going to use this debugger to try and figure out what the deal is here, where the overflow is actually coming from. So it could be this. Could be this element here. Does that go all the way to the bottom? It does. But so does that. Okay. This is supposed to be limiting stuff. So I guess the first thing I could try then is in my full size thing. Max width. No, that does not appear to have any effect. Okay, that does cause more overflow. Okay, so it's not really to do with this, I think. It's probably some like extra padding happening somewhere. Category components. So it's not that. Just kind of going to go up the stack here and turn on and off a few things and see if I can see what essentially what the problem is. So that looks fine to me. Display column. There's not really any stuff going on there. Details panel. Component details panel. Nothing really. Details wrapper. Okay. Might be because the style is directly on here. So in this details wrapper, I've got overflow scroll Y. What would happen out of interest if I was to move that into here? And refresh. Okay. So details wrapper doesn't really have anything. And details panel, constrain the height to 100% potentially. That is close, but it's got the similar problem again. Okay. So the details panel, details wrapper. It's kind of just being given too much room by that even. Split horizontal. Split horizontal. Split width. Doesn't really matter, it seems. Okay. So I haven't spotted anything yet that really would be causing this to completely overflow like it is. I wonder what would happen if I put that on both. Nothing. No. I'm just gonna trial and error a few things here. Okay, so where are all our paddings coming from? Category contents, padding. So I can take the padding out and I still have the overscroll. I can take the gap out, still have the overscroll. Details category. Welcome in, Shake. Nice to see you here. nothing there, and then the wrapper, I don't know why height is grayed out like that, I guess because of this. Yeah, I guess the height is getting overridden here, so can I change that to max height? No, doesn't really care. Okay, which means I don't know if I'm convinced this is the issue though, because these both sit in split. Which the width doesn't really matter, the height. Like, what if I did 100 VH on that? No, it doesn't matter. Okay. Max height. 100% of the parent? No. No, okay. So that's on the split itself then. And it only doesn't happen if... Oh, wait, no, there's something weird going on here. Okay. This is a clue. What is happening down here? Full size. Ah. Because I did that, okay. That was just, let me refresh and clear all my other settings. Skylights. Yeah, so one with basically nothing on it is essentially fine. And then in here, yeah, man, where is that overscroll coming from? I guess because this is getting pushed down too, it means that everything... Well, what happens if I do this then? No, okay, so this one behaves. And if I collapse that stuff, okay. Now we're getting somewhere then. So if I just expand one of these, it goes beyond, which means that the parent of this details wrapper. It's height calculated, and the details panel, I guess, needs to be as tall as that. So 687.34, and then I click here. 687.34. 712. I do think that needs to be there, that's for sure. No? How's your day been, Sheikh? Nice to see you. No, this is absolutely not what I want. Why? Maybe it's a clue that that doesn't work, because I would have thought that would be fine. Basically, I think it's something to do with my split. Where are we at? Details wrapper. Then the details panel goes down too far. Okay. So now we're back to this, which is good. Interestingly, sometimes when it scrolls off the end, it's fine, which is weird. I wonder if it's this color thing. If I take the color off the outlines, no, it's not that at all. Okay. Then how come when this one over scrolls it's fine? Ah, it's not, okay. It's weird. It's like fine until I hit a certain point. One thing out of interest, if I save the layout when it's big, no, that doesn't make a difference. God damn it, where is this scroll coming from? Is it the height of this? That's 32. Wait a second. Full size. Toolbar. The split. Is 100%. This is 100%. Edit a window. So there's actually a problem with both directions. I was just sort of like hiding it. Because of that? No. Can I just add a new? Yeah, I can. Can I add one in here? Yeah. Yeah, that does hide it for the whole app. Maybe that's fine for now. There is a problem where I can't sort of scroll to the bottom necessarily on all of this now. But I think that'll do in the meantime. So essentially I just want to hide the overflow on the whole editor window. And that will sort of hide the problem. What was the thing? Ed window. I don't have that. Here we go. Edit a window. Hide the overflow. And now if we refresh and post-process volume, yeah. It just basically stops the overflow from showing, which is fine. I'll commit that. Okay, the next thing I want to do is from the last stream we have these oh wait, there's still, yeah, there is a really ugly layout thing that happens. You can see the whole viewport is resizing when I click on that. Yeah, that's not great. But essentially we have these light components which we added. Oh god, this layout stuff is awful. I'll come back to it. Yeah, so these light components. What the hell? Why is my my controls are inverted? Oh no, there we go. Oh, I must have scrolled too far back, I see. I probably don't have a clamp on that. But yeah, we have these lights. They can change color, change brightness. That's about it, essentially. This is what we did last time. But what I want to do in like the spotlight and stuff is make essentially a component that lives between these two, just called like a light component. So yeah, I'm just gonna work on that. Why have I lost autocomplete? There we go. Captain. Right, now we need to just kind of extract the common functionality from these lights. So if I open the spotlight, directional light, point light, pretty sure that's them all. And the reason I want to do this, there's only a few properties so far, but the reason I want to do this now is that as I expose more properties of the light, I don't want to have to do it in multiple places essentially. But yeah, so for now, basically they all share color and intensity. U property, can't find name color, that's fine. I mean, missing new operator. The wrong U property, I need the one from decorators, there we go. Okay, and then what else would I want? Does their light inherit from anything? It does. Okay, so we can use that. Do we need it though? I think it's fine to have one of these on each class. That's probably fine. No, because we need to set the properties on everything. Okay, so I will need protected. Actually, no, I don't need that. That'll be fine. I can just use the get render object method and make it a light, and that will work. Okay, and then the adding and removing from the scene can be moved here. render object. Remove the render object. Okay, the tick as well can get moved. And yeah, we do just tick for now. Let's make another helper method then. I'll do public get light component, and that can return light. I guess it's through light, yeah, and that can return wait, throw, is that how you do it? Light, get light component not implemented. I think that's how you do a throw. Yeah, but we can now use this method and the children will implement it. So in fact, we can replace this. Like that. And then, since all lights have color and intensity, that will work. Yeah, so spotlight now doesn't need those. Doesn't need that. Okay, I will leave the spotlight property. That's fine. And now it needs to extend light components. Get light component, and that can return this dot spotlight. Same as the render component, but it's just like precasted basically. Yeah, and we have the color intensity, and even this, actually it's probably a good time to do this. Let's, as well as refactoring everything else, move this. Ah, shit, okay. Was that in the constructor, was it? Yeah, because I have the thing, okay. That's fine, so maybe on begin play then. Which I must already have. That's on the like. Okay, you know what? Let's just stay on track and I'll fix this one as a separate commit. That'll probably keep things easy to understand. So yeah, we just need these two methods basically, which kind of return the same thing, but they're four different things. This is the object that sort of represents this component in the scene, and this is like a helper method to get the light from the scene. And I mean, in which case, actually, if that is basically almost always what I'll be doing, I could return get render object as a light, and that will mean I don't have to implement this basically. As long as I implement this one, it'll use this kind of by default but cast it differently. So now we don't need light here either, that's good. And the spotlight should be behaving basically the same, so let's test that. Oh, it is not. Spotlight component, light component. I guess because the properties I think I just exposed kind of a problem with my reflection system. These properties are only assigned to this type, but when I have a child type, such as the spotlight, which inherits from light component, it doesn't also get those properties. So I will need to do that. Okay. So that's going to return those properties. Parent class constructor dot name. Parent class dot. I probably can't get the parent class off it. Oh shit. Okay, this is getting a little fucky then. Registered name. Let's see. Let me just spend a little bit of time thinking about this because I do want to get this right. Make sure I put in a good solution for this. Okay, so if I go to decorators, and I'll just step through the process of how this works, we have a property specifier which registers the property of that class, that name, and we take the specifiers. Okay, so at this point we already don't know what the parent type is. Ah, shit. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna need to do something a little fancier here then, I guess. Let's see if I can find something. Get property of function. B extends A. C extends B. Get prototype of A returns that. Oh wait, get prototype of. Data any function. Get prototype of. Okay, so we might be able to do it this way. Let me see what that prints. Const parent. What is it? Target, I guess, is what they call it. So object dot get prototype of. I guess parent class dot prototype, and then the constructor of that. So what does that? What does that return? Anything? Parent class prototype undefined. No, it's not. Prototype, I must have got it wrong. Spelling. No, I didn't. Okay. Nothing. Why can I not get this prototype? Oh, constructor dot. Okay, I can do that. I guess I have the CDO right there, but I could do parent class dot constructor dot prototype. Still not incredibly clear on how this prototype stuff works. Let's go on to this. This should have got called now, right? Yep. Object.get prototype of constructor prototype. Yeah, so what just got passed through here? Directional light component. So now I can see its parent is scene component. Okay. All right, thank God I can do this. All right, so now I just need to think through. And this is a really bad night to be doing this because my brain is already fried from socializing, but I need to think through what I think would be good potentially. I store these U properties and I store the object they're on, but I think I need to start doing U classes, and then the classes I can actually build an object hierarchy around. So yeah, because I'm just using the object here. So I think that would be a good call. So in decorators, I would like specifiers here, which there is none. And then where did I put? I just dumped that in here somewhere. No, that's in the U property. Do I have a U class? No. So I'll export U property, except it's U class specifiers. And did I do it as a type or what? Yeah. Okay, and there's basically just nothing in there for right now, but that's fine. So in here, specifiers is going to be new class specifiers. Sorry we're having to go so low level again. I was hoping to stay reasonably high level in today's stream, but such is life. Yep. So we pretty much just want to do the same thing. Ask our reflection system to register class. And that will be, I mean, I guess just the constructor and the specifier, which I want an S on the end there. And we can now get rid of that. Can we? Is that reserved, that name? Nope, that's fine. So now we just need to register class. Register property. Register class. We've got a constructor, which is basically just a function. The specifiers is, what the hell kind of syntax is that? Specifiers. This is how I do that as well. Throw new error. So let me go back to, was it Spotlight? light somewhere. Oh, I got rid of the throw, so it doesn't even matter. Okay. It's fine. Sure, save that. Not sure what I changed. Okay, so we kind of need like a class. Like this is already registered classes. Let's see. That will be essentially properties, new property, array. So I'm trying to think about everything we would want to know about a class in our reflection system. So what I would want to know off here is I want to know what all the properties are, eventually what all the functions are, the U functions, and what all the, I guess what the parent class is or something. Pretty straightforward. Protected functions. And I know there was probably like another way I could have done this with using like the JavaScript, I guess prototype system where you can kind of just like read functions off it. But I kind of like to build my own system and like sort of wrap it and expose certain functionality as necessary. Yeah, so I have like a little more control over this now. So I guess I'll make a U function as well. Why not just do the whole lot since we're doing reflection unexpectedly? Reflection. Kind of just that, and then I might as well do export type U function specifiers. Yep, U function. We won't worry about what is actually in there. Yep, U class. We're gonna probably want to keep track of the specifiers when we make a class. So U class, like specifiers. Okay. Make that default to. Yeah, that's fine. And what else? Parent class. Protected parent class is going to be another U class. And that might not always have a parent. I could keep track of things like all the child classes as well. Things like all the interfaces or stuff like that, but for now I think this will be enough to get by. Trying to think of any specifiers I want for now, but there isn't really anything that springs to mind immediately. Something like that. Public void. No, that's not how you do TypeScript. Public. No, that's not even how you do a constructor. Well, I guess I could make it explicitly public, but I don't think it hugely matters. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose I can pass all this stuff through. I guess makes sense. What's the key combo for? No. is. Underscore all those, and required parameter cannot follow an optional parameter. I see. So we force you to pass in the specifiers, the parent class. I guess you should just be able to pass in like undefined explicitly. Or maybe this should be null, because null to me means like it's not that it hasn't been set, it's just that it's intentionally been set to a nothing reference. So yeah, just quickly bang all these in. The functions. But it's not going to be happy about that because I've made it optional here, but I will actually just explicitly say or null, and then we set it in the constructor, so it doesn't even matter. In fact, all of these get set in the constructor now, so I don't have to be doing that. Yeah, this looks pretty good. For U function, a lot of that's going to be used for replication, I guess, and networking. It's actually not entirely super important that I implement that just yet, so I can leave that out. So register class, that constructor, those specifiers. Now I need to go make a new U class. Right. Yeah, right, I got the wrong thing, so that's not the, that's the actual U class one now is the one I want, not the U property one. Right, yeah. And okay, so specifiers can just get passed straight through. Can they? Because that can be undefined. Is that how you do that? Typescript variable or default value. Okay, I see. So specifiers if it's set or an empty object. What's the next thing we need? The parent class. Okay, so now the trouble is going to be The trouble is going to be that the class hasn't actually generated, potentially might not have generated yet. Like, I don't know what order basically these decorators scan in, get compiled in. Maybe it's just like, you know, I don't know, alphabetical in this folder or something. Which means that if the child class comes first, such as directional light component, before its parent class, which is light component, then, you know, I can't really get access to it before it's created. In which case I would need to save this as essentially a string, which is the name of the thing that it's going to be, or create the parent class at the time I come across a class that needs a parent class and then update it later. I am leaning towards the second option. So, well, the first thing is get the name of the class that we should have. So, how did I do that before? It's basically this, except we use this constructor. And let's make sure that is working. I guess I need to make, so what I'll do is I'll make the light component a U class. And I'll do the spotlight. And we'll see what happens. Decorators. Okay. And now in reflection, what should happen is we should hit this breakpoint with something first, and I'm not sure what the first thing will be. I guess light component, because that comes first alphabetically actually, but we'll see. So the constructor that came through is, oh, wait, does directional light, oh yeah, this is a U class as well. Okay, so we got the directional light come through, and the parent class constructor.prototype got set to scene component, which is accurate. I need to do it like this, I guess. So let me restart this whole thing. Okay, so we've got the directional light component coming through again. The parent class gets set to scene component, which is good. Then the next one that comes through, skylight component, and its parent class is scene component. And then we get the light component, which parent's class should be scene component. And then I actually have a lot more things marked as U class than I thought. Spotlight component. Okay, so here's the one that should say light component, and it does. Okay, cool. So this is good. Did I just hit no debugging? Okay, so this is the parent class, I guess name I'll call it. So I was saying that if the parent class doesn't exist, so let's just change this. I'm gonna have to change this one probably as well, but let's just for now focus on U classes. Registered U classes, and that will be, rather than a class name, that actually might still be a good way to do it, huh? Class name string, just a quick look up by the name. Yep, that's fine. Do your thing. So then I can say if there is registered U classes at parent class name is undefined, then I need to actually create it. So I guess what I need to do is register that. It's actually interesting. I get the parent class constructor, then parent class name can be parent class constructor.name, and then I can just register a class, which is this, and the specifiers, I guess, are just going to have to be blank, and I'll update them. So, and I've just crashed it, it looks like. But what's supposed to happen here is, oh, because it never actually adds it to this thing as well. Let me quickly do that. I guess I need to create the thing. So this is gonna be okay, that should be a U class. Yeah, it's gonna be easier for me to explain this once I actually write the code. So now we have the parent. We need a list of the properties, which for now is blank, and then we need a list of functions, which is also blank for now. Yep. Registered classes. I guess I could just do this. Then it's a really long line of code, that's right. But I don't, so that's the parent class. What I don't want to do is use the parent class's name. I want to use this class's name, which is this class. Okay. And that should cause it to stop looping. So I'm not sure if I've, seems like there's some sort of infinite loop going on here. Null reading constructor. Oh, I guess eventually there is no parent. Get prototype of yeah, shit, I don't handle the case where there is no parent class, so it's freaking out. So this, if there's no parent, then don't worry about any of that. Yeah. And the parent class, I think, is allowed to be null. So I'll create it at the top here, parent class. I'll make it a U class. or null equal to null. There we go. Cannot assign parent class because it is constant. Of course. Of course. Okay, so now everything is looking good. Every time a class is registered. So yeah, so what happens now is basically before we even register ourselves, when a class is looked at, we first check if it has a parent, and if it does have a parent, and we haven't already sort of like registered its parent yet, so like, you know, the directional light component gets compiled before the light component. What we do is we quickly, before we register the directional light component, we register the light component. We make sure it at least exists, and then we can update this data later. And then as we go through, we then add ourselves. I guess there should be a check in here somewhere to check that we haven't already added ourselves, because depending how this lines up, yeah, we're kind of just overriding it with this, but it might already have some data when it was created as a parent. Yeah, and it potentially would too. Yeah, so I'm going to need to basically do something like if this class has never been registered before, just register it. Otherwise, we need to update it with some data, which is essentially just a parent and some specifiers. So I guess I need setters for those. That doesn't return anything. And then set, what did I say? Specifiers. Specifiers. That returns nothing as well. Make that a U class, and the specifiers, U class specifiers, yeah, we handle the or create there. Okay, so I can just leave it as like that, and then basically just update the data. So do it like that, and specifiers. And in case it's not clear why we need to do this, I think we need to do it because if this class had already been created as a parent of another class early, we create the class with basically blank data, like it doesn't know what the specifiers or anything were. So then when we register this class like properly for real, we need to use the data that's there, but then use the actual incoming data from the decorator, essentially this, to update the class that's already been registered early. Yeah, it's quite confusing, this stuff, but I think this is going to work pretty well. So if it's already been updated, or if it already existed, essentially, then And this is getting pretty long, so I'll do const u new class, or like class to register. So if the class to register is undefined, yeah, we still need that one probably, but class to register dot set parent class to parent. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is getting really complicated. To this, which could be null, and I didn't say that here. And register dot set specifiers to the new ones coming in, or empty if they're empty, essentially. I'm going to change these to update. I feel like it makes more sense because you're not, I mean, it is setting it essentially, but I feel like it just reads better in this code we've got here. So if the class is already registered, we just update its parent class and update its specifiers. And I could also do something where it's like if specifiers is undefined or not undefined, then force it through like that, but it's fine to do it the way I had it. I think it's less code. Okay, so let's do a log when a class gets registered. Which essentially happens here. U class registered. Constructor.name is the name. Okay. And then I'm also going to log it. Class to register. Okay, and then I will also put a print saying uClass updated this, and then print, I guess, the updated version. So we should see now. I'm not sure which will get compiled first. We've got some properties getting registered, then a uClass, the directional light components registered with undefined. That's not good. Oh wait, it's because I'm printing the wrong thing. That is fine. uClass registered directional light component, which basically gets turned into this, which has, it says it has no parent class, but it has no parent class because the parent class doesn't have the specifier, although I would have thought that would still try to register it, honestly. Didn't know that TypeScript React app has that capabilities. What capabilities are you talking about? This logger, or yeah, registered skylight component. That doesn't have a parent class. Okay, where's one that I know has a parent class? That'll help me figure this out. uClass registered light components, spotlight component, I know I set. Okay, so the parent classes are just not getting set, I guess. And actually that's because I'm not seeing the updated coming through. Which means that there's a problem here. Parent class. That's undefined, set the name. if the parent class is not registered with that name, then we register the class with the constructor. And then after essentially that would have registered, I wonder maybe what I should do is log out the full array as well. And then I can just go from the bottom here and look for that array, which is here. Directional light component, skylight component, spotlight component. So because that's null, that makes me think this code is never getting hit. Is that true? Yes, this code is never getting hit, which means this is never undefined. Really? That's never undefined? I thought it was spamming errors about that before. Parent class constructor. It was probably freaking out about the name then, I guess. Well, let's see what this is then. So we've got directional light component coming through. The parent class constructor is scene component. Oh, the check I'm doing here is wrong, I think. Yeah, so then should be not equal to undefined, shouldn't it? Parent class constructor is not equal to undefined, yeah. And now it comes through with skylight. Wait a second. Stop that, run it again. I think I screwed up my logic here, potentially. But me brain not working so good right now, so maybe not. 39. This was null. Right. That whole thing is null, so I guess I need to check it like that. Oh wait, it's not the check it's complaining about. Okay, parent class prototype dot constructor. So I would have to put this in here then. So if the prototype is not equal to undefined, then do everything. No, still not happy. Line 41. I need to read properties of null constructor. Oh, not equal to null. and parent class prototype does not equal to null. I may have not needed to do this then. Alright, and then we register everything. Yeah, so it goes all the way up to add to component and even object now, which is not really supposed to be a U class, but yeah, that's interesting actually. So if we follow the chain up from spotlight component, this inherits from light component, which is a U class, which inherits from scene component, which is already not a U class, but we still register it as one because it's the parent of something that is a U class. And then actor component, same thing, which just, I guess, extends object. So even object gets... Okay, so this is problematic because they're not necessarily real. Like, I need something in here to check that. Protected is what's a good word for, like, you're guessing something is the case, like is estimate or something, or is because like basically when this gets registered, I'm assuming its parent class is going to be a U class, but if it's not, I need to handle it. So like is I guess I could say like is like confirmed maybe. What is your font? It's called JetBrains Mono. You can get it from, well, if you just Google JetBrains Mono, it'll come up. But it gives you all these nice little lignatures here where it like, that is just a not equals, but it like converts it into this nice, well, I think nice looking sort of single icon. It does like greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and the font is quite nice too. Is validated or something? No problem. Noob Tune, welcome to the stream. Is validated. Is that good? Yeah, I guess. So that boolean, and by default is false. And it'll get validated when we've seen it registered for real, basically. So signal validation, validated true, and then I'll do a getter for it as well. Is validated, and we do get is validated boolean return star is. Cool. And the reason I'm doing this is because, so wait, before I lose my train of thought, every time the class to register is undefined. Wait, how is this going to work? Because this is going to get called with that constructor, so it's not going to know if it's actually like being registered by. Ooh. Okay. I'll say bool. Let's see, I'm gonna have to put this boolean. No, wait, wrong way around. Is projection, is parent projection boolean. And because I've made this optional, where does this get called? The specifiers are optional here as well. Dang. Okay, so I'll just say false by default. And in here we can say it is a parent projection, which basically means it's like we're just creating this class because we've seen a class that uses this class as a parent class. I feel like I said class like 20 times just then. But yeah, so we don't know for sure if it's gonna like actually exist in the reflection system yet. We're just kind of preparing in case it does. This is getting quite complicated, isn't it? So if it's a parent projection, after we create the real class, we want to go class to register dot signal validation if it's not a parent projection. So that means if this is coming from like a real, maybe that's actually something, a better way to call it, like is not from decorator. So if it's not coming from a decorator call, this, which is just to remind everyone these things, then if it's not from decorator, Jesus Christ, this is getting fucked. If it is from a decorator, signal validation. Okay, I don't like the double negative there for sure. Is whatever, let's just go back to is parent prediction. I can rename it later. And I really don't. Double negatives just immediately fry your brain when you come across, well, me anyway, when I come across them. Okay, so now we've registered signal validation. Cannot read properties. That is an old error, I think. Is it? No. 69. Wait, what do you mean this is not valid? Oh. Okay, I guess I have to just duplicate this code for now, but we validate it in both cases essentially, but in this case I have to deal with this reference, which is, I should tidy this code up, but same diff. So when we get to the end of the uClass scanning, we should be able to see that Spotlight component is validated because it actually has uClass in it, and its parent class is, I should put the name in here so I can actually, yeah, let me do that actually. Class, it'll help for debugging and it might be useful information to have anyway. So this basically is always going to be this dot name is the, wait, I don't pass through the constructor. I feel like we might want the constructor coming through here too, but for now, I guess I'm just going to have to pass through the name as well. Let's just, since we'll probably need it, let's pass through the constructor, which is a function. Yep, is constructor.name. And now it's going to be all kinds of mad over here because when I create the U class, I need the actual constructor name, which is here. Yeah, that's the only place I actually create a U class. Okay, so now if we look at this, we can see Spotlight component is validated, its parent class. Light component is also validated. Is that true? Yep. And then its parent class, scene component is also validated. That is not right. Act opponent, yeah, okay. What the heck? What did I probably made some really silly mistake. Why is everything getting validated no matter what? How's it going, Eamon112M? Nice to see you. I'm just working a little bit on the reflection system at the moment, which is not the most exciting thing, but it is necessary on the wee engine we're making here. Typescript game engine, tell me about it. Nice. You working on one too, eh? Very cool. Yep, yesterday we got colored light stuff working. I've also managed to bust my editor layout, so that's fun. But yeah, this is getting there. I'm just working on, yeah, my reflection stuff at the moment, so yeah, it's a little bit dry, but we're getting there. Anyway, I think what's happening is that, oh yeah, god damn it, yeah, so it is a silly mistake. I just register, I validate it every time, no matter what. So I only want to validate it if it's not a parent projection. The class to register though, yeah. So now that should validate everything correctly. So the spotlight component is validated, the parent of that is light component is validated, which is true. And then the parent of that, the scene component, should not be. Low light scene component, yeah, is validated false. And then obviously actor component not, and then what even is this? Object is not. So yeah, that all works. Oh, cool, yeah. Yep, no, it is pretty fun. We're getting through it slowly. It's been, I can't remember what day we're on now, but I think almost 2 weeks of working on this. Yeah, we're getting there. It's still pretty basic, but there's been a lot of work going in so far, so yeah. Welcome in, basically. Yeah, still on kind of the basic stuff, just getting like the object selection, trying to get the editor layout sort of working a little better. The rendering is looking relatively nice. We've got shadows and stuff sort of working-ish. And yeah, there should be some post effects here too, some bloom and stuff. But I still need to do things like build the whole content browser so you can like make different models and textures and sort of just drag them into the scene. And output log and just so much stuff, but we're getting there. Step by step. Not basic at all? Yeah, I suppose, yeah. It depends. Like, I guess it's basic for a game engine. It's probably reasonably advanced for a Electron Typescript project. But yeah, it's good fun. I'm using React for all the UI, which I'm pretty new to, but has been a lot of fun so far. And yeah, obviously Electron and 3JS. And yeah, that's pretty much the tech stack. Cool, so now that that is there, I do want to quickly see if I can, in the reflection again. So the reflection is going to be so in case you actually, yeah, I should explain if you don't know what reflection is or how it works. It's basically a way for me to know which variables and functions and classes, like basically runtime type information, which TypeScript doesn't super well support. So you can see how, like, on this post-process volume I have like some components like the bloom and stuff, and these like little checkboxes and that. This is all dynamically generated from these variables. So like you can see, what variable is that? Enable bloom. If I make another variable, just a normal TypeScript variable, test variable, and I make it a boolean, true by default, and then I give it this special decorator. Basically this will get be part of the compilation step, and TypeScript will detect this, and my reflection system will basically create a custom UI element for that. So now if we go to the post-process volume, you should be able to see somewhere, yeah, a default category, because I didn't put a category, and the test var there. And because it's like runtime type information with the reflection system, what I can do is change this to a number, which can't be true, obviously. Just make it 0 by default or something. The system will basically detect that and convert test var to a number now instead. So I mean, that's like a one example of why having this reflection system is helpful. There's quite a few others, but like for game scripting and stuff in the future. But yeah, and so like I can do stuff like say, I don't know, now that this is a number, I could put it in a category test and give it a min value of, you know, -1 or something. Yeah, and the UI will generate that, so I can't go below -1 now. And put it in a category called test. Yeah, so anyway, hopefully I didn't just like over explain that too much, but just so we're all on the same page of what I'm talking about when I'm building my reflection system. Knocked your socks off, dude. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. It's been a good, fun project so far. So this is uProperties, which is one part. This is property reflection, but now I'm basically working on class reflection. So that's essentially metadata about the class as a whole. Currently, it's 155 FPS for me. This is a 155 hertz monitor basically. I haven't found out how to basically disable the frame rate cap in 3JS yet, so I don't know how high it would go. But yeah, so far it's like I haven't seen any performance problem just yet. But yeah, if there was, there's still a lot of optimization to do and everything. So yeah. So what I want to do then is under reflection, Register class. I kind of just want a function called like get classes or something. That can be a uClass array, and I want to use this, but I want to filter out the ones reflection, the classes that basically aren't validated. So how do I for each over like a dictionary like this? I don't actually know how to do that. Let me quickly look it up. That's the syntax for it. For let key in my dictionary, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's basically just an object then. Is it in or of? In registered classes. Master, I think there's been a few people that have done stuff with it. Yeah. One that springs to mind, if I can remember the name of it. What was it called? I'm pretty sure they have it on the 3JS website. But yeah, there was one someone made. Where are we? Documentation and then useful links. Pretty sure it was in here somewhere. Yeah, so basically I have seen a couple around. I haven't seen any like in use, I guess. There was someone in chat the other day that made an amazing one. I think that was 2 or 3 days ago. Man, what is this thing called? I forget. It came across, I think, Infinity Engine. Is that one of them? Oh god, this... No, it's not that. Not Wiki, Reddit. Man, my brain is shutting down, sorry. It's 11 o'clock and I've had a massive day today. Rogue Engine, that's the one. This is probably the most fully fledged one I've come across anyway. Where it's like a full-on sort of game engine built on the web, which is pretty cool. I'm not particularly trying to target the web with my engine. I'm actually targeting desktop, but yeah. So basically, long story short, I probably don't need to go on such a massive tangent, but I think people have done it before, and they've probably done it a lot better than I have, and probably will be able to do. But yeah, it's fun. Feel free to tune in if you want to see the process of how something like this is built. Classes, class array. I'm sure there's some fancy JavaScript way I could write this where it's way shorter, but I'll just do classes dot push the key yep, but I'm only going to push it if push the uClass if it is validated. Yeah, so I can take out this probably. And kind of right at the end, what I want to do is get classes and log that. Because I want to see what the system actually thinks the classes are without all the yeah, the wrong ones. Cool. So what I'm thinking is maybe I go back through and filter these after the fact. The only problem is I don't know when we're done doing the decorator stuff. I don't know if there's like a way to detect, hey, the last decorator's been called, go ahead and clean everything up. So I guess for now I can just leave the dummy data in these arrays and use a proxy array like this to get only the proper validated U classes. The only downside to this is I still get the parent class set to something that isn't a valid U class. So yeah, that's not the best thing in the world, but to fix that, basically what I would need is, instead of accessing this directly, which I can't even do right now anyway, I'd need to do, in fact, let me just write it. Public get parent class, or I could just do parent class as a get like that. U class or null. And then I'd need to do something like if this dot parent class is null, then return null. Otherwise, return this dot parent class dot is validated. If it is validated, then we return the parent class, otherwise return null. And now I can do something like, let's see, in reflection, every time I register a class, or I kind of want to do it at the end. But anyway, basically what I could do is like classes, you know, whatever in the array dot parent class, and that will now only give me, that'll give me null if it has a parent class but it's not validated. Front-end developer using React and Next and TypeScript, of course, but whatever you're doing is just a piece of art that we all should appreciate. I appreciate that, yeah. No, it's good fun. I come from a video game background as my day job, so yeah, I usually do projects more down this line of thing, like games and game engines and whatnot. My front-end experience, as you mentioned, with React and everything is definitely my weakest part, so apologies if you see me struggling with that a bit, but yeah, like all the TX stuff I've been working on has been a bit iffy so far, but we're getting there. Yeah, anyway, I don't really need that, and the reflection stuff seems to be good now. So I think the next thing to do would be to convert this old array, which is basically just a list of U properties, into using this array, which, because the U class has a list of properties inside it and functions and everything else. So let's see maybe if I can do that, but I should probably commit first. Yeah. And so I don't need this anymore because I've already kind of, oh wait. No, yeah, I don't need that anymore because I've already kind of handled it. What made you choose React and TypeScript for a game engine? Well, traditionally game engines are written in C++, and my C++ is not strong enough to do that probably. So I was making a game engine in C#, which is my favorite language, which is similar to Java if you've used Java before. But I was finding making the UI in that a huge pain in the butt. So I was trying to think of how to handle like what my ideal situation for UI would be in an engine in terms of like the workflow of creating it. And then I was thinking like, well, pretty much all of websites and front end stuff is essentially UI development. So I basically just started looking into whether I can leverage some front end technology to create my game engine with, which has the downside of meaning that my game engine will never be kind of the fastest in the, like the fastest game engine out there, unless I convert the actual sort of game engine part of it to maybe WebAssembly or something like that. But I'm kind of fine with that. This is more of a learning sort of fun learning project for me. And it's nice to be able to use something like React. I used to use Vue before, Vue.js, but they changed the API, and I figured instead of learning the new API, I would just test out a different framework. Since then, I've gotten reasonably interested in Svelte from someone in the stream the other day. But yeah, that's pretty much it. 3JS was a big pull as well, like a nice sort of like high-level rendering, I don't know what you call it, framework, which means I don't need to do all the OpenGL-ness myself like I was before. I could eventually swap this out for WebGL, but I don't know if there's a huge point to it, since 3JS already does such a good job. But yeah, that's kind of all there is to it. Wanted to learn, and TypeScript is a really fun language to make as well. Not to make, to write code in. Alright, can I quickly do a little bit more before my brain completely shuts down? Let's try to maybe just convert this function over. So we've got the class name, which means we can do a lookup and see if the class exists. Parent class. Okay, that's all prop type stuff. When I create a property, parent object, that basically is the class that it's on. Sounds very interesting, man. Do you have a Discord server or something? No, I don't have a Discord server, unfortunately. Yeah, no, this is kind of it. This is kind of the whole whole show, really. Yeah, I just decided to stream it because I figured, if I'm just sitting here programming away, someone else might, be interested in seeing what I'm up to. But yeah, it's not a very sort of like professional production we got going on over here. I've just got a small wee channel. So pretty much like this seems to me like all I need to do is that if class name in, the way I would probably write that now is if this is undefined, that just reads a little easier for me. What are we doing here? We push the U property. Okay, so what instead we need to be doing is open source and being hosted anywhere. Cool project. Are you using WebGPU? Not currently open source, no. I probably will at some point, but I haven't yet. And WebGPU, so I'm using Three.js as the rendering framework, and that uses WebGL by default. But I believe they are looking to support WebGPU. I think it might be experimental right now, but yeah. So I haven't written the custom renderer myself. I'm just using a framework for it that ideally will support WebGPU pretty soon. That is some pretty exciting stuff going on with WebGPU. Right, I really need to just try and muster all my last brain power of the night to make this happen. So basically, if the class has not been registered yet, then what I need to do is similar to down here when I'm doing the parent stuff, is actually preemptively register it, which means I need the constructor. Class name, this is the constructor, and the specifiers is empty, and is parent projection is actually going to be true because this is not a true, like this doesn't count as it being validated. It only gets validated when it comes across the U class, like up here, like that. Yep, so if the registered class is undefined, then we register the class. Yep, and that will do all this malarkey and go through all its parents and register those if it needs. And eventually we will end up with this uProperty array, which we just pass in nothing to, I believe. Yep, an empty array, so that will be initialized. So then all we really need to do, this is actually way simpler than I thought it was going to be, is push this uProperty we just came across into, we can basically redo this, which I already have. And now that's a U class, and we'll just add property, essentially. And the property is this. Give me my little, where's my little yellow control dot thing? Here we go. No, move to file, what are you talking about? Does it not know what type this is? Oh wait, this is registered U classes. There we go. What in the Unreal Engine syntax? Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I use Unreal Engine for my day job, so I'm basically using that as inspiration for, but writing it from scratch in a different language for the web, which it was never intended for, but it is fun. uProperty. Let's just call that property. On the class, and then literally all we need to do is add here. Still add. Nope. What is it in Typescript? Push property. Okay, and then if we go back, that will register it. So that will create it if it needs to, then register the property. Which means this can go away, which is going to cause a bunch of errors. So now when I'm trying to get the properties of that, that's the class name. It's going to be uClasses class name dot, I'm going to have to convert this code actually. So if this is undefined, then return just nothing. Otherwise, Otherwise we return the properties, which I don't have a getter for yet. Let's see. New class. Properties. Get properties of, yeah, okay. Public get properties. I think this is going to actually return like a reference, which is not actually what I want, but if I do clone, how do you duplicate an array? There will be a way, I'm sure. Or clone an array. That'll work. Oh, jeez. Is there really not just a function for this? Ah, here we go. The spread operator. Oh, it won't work for... Okay, well, we're just returning the reference then. Whatever. So now if we go back, we can just return the properties. Function return get properties from, so this takes in a subclass. Class name, class type, which is right. Wait, what was that again? Basically, I can like a nude up thing. Dot name. Okay, so it's essentially gonna just be the same thing then. In fact, I could have just. Could I not just return get properties of constructor.name? Ah, I see. Okay. No, I can't do it like that. So I do basically need to just do this. Yeah, literally that. Cool. And then if we look into like here, we still have properties. Can still turn them on and off, which is good. What was that? Double-sided. Yep, the light still works. And if I look at the registry now, oh dear. This is just checkbox stuff, whatever. If we look at the registry on the last thing, we've got Spotlight component, which has no properties registered. Parent class has 2 properties registered, which is a color and a number. And the parent class of that, no properties. Okay, parent classes, those are invalid though. So now this whole rabbit hole, let me commit. Okay. This whole rabbit hole basically has been for the purposes of a spotlight now doesn't show the properties of a light, like a point light, because the spotlight, or the spotlight component, and here it's from light component, and light component is the thing with the actual properties. So essentially what needs to happen is when I render a light component, I need to render its properties and the properties of every parent above it as well. So I think I can do that by editing these methods. So const properties, which would be a uProperty array, and then parent equals this, or like current class equals this, and then while the current class is not undefined and the current class is validated, then do some shit, but then at the end set the current class to parent class, and it's constant, and the type of this is always uClass, so I'll do uClass or null, because it could be null, which means I need to check null here, not undefined. Actually, I need to check both, don't I? Because this could still be undefined, actually, yeah. So it's not undefined, it's not null, and it is validated. Then do some stuff and set the current class to that. And the thing we want to do is basically get the current class's properties and sort of put them into this array. Is there, like, how do I, like, can I append or something? Like, how would I, Typescript, append array. Oh, wait, you can just pass a whole array to push? Looks like you can. So properties dot push this. Wait, did it lie to me? Yeah, what the hell? Okay, what if I do that? Is that a fancy thing that I can do here? I think so. Yeah, and then set the class, go through, and then now we have the properties here. Where we can just return like that. Oh, not like that, like this. And unfortunately, I just kind of need to put that code here. I could merge these two, but they do work slightly differently. One works on an actual instantiated object, and one works on the subclass of an object, which is basically the kind of the template. But basically just copying this code is enough to get it working, I think. So if I look at the spotlight now, yes, it does work. You can see that the spotlight has the properties of its parent. Why does the point light not have any properties? That's bad. The point light doesn't have any properties because it's not a U class, and that is basically just the rule that I set in place for myself, which is fine. That's how I want it to be. So now this should be fine. So you can only have U properties if you're a U class. Makes sense. And then now this can be a light component rather than a scene component, which means we don't need those. Or any of that. And the point light should work just fine anyway, yep, because it inherits all that behavior from above. So we've done spotlight, point light, skylight as well. Has light, color, and intensity. Which can now go away. This can go, and these can go, even though they're U functions. Doesn't matter. One thing about the skylight though I've noticed is I don't set its owner, which is pretty important and is something I want to move into the scene component itself rather than having every implementation handle it, but that should, yeah, be good. We have the color, can still change it, everything's all good. Actually, yeah, it means I can potentially implement this sort of logic with the coloring of the icon into these in a shared sort of way. You can see right now this doesn't do it. But yeah, some of that will be for next time, I think. The last one is the directional light component. Directional light component. We want to get rid of those. And shadow casting we'll leave on here, but should be moved up shortly. Okay, that's good. These don't need to be here, but we do need to now super tick. And that doesn't need to be added here anymore, but those do. Cool, so we still have the shadow casting toggle, which is good. And yep, the direction is still based on the rotation, which is good. So now what I can do, the power of this, and the reason I did this whole thing, is now if I grab this U property for cast shadow and go up to the light component and dump it in here, and wait, the last thing was move this into the parent as well. So I map these things on tick right now, which is not the most fantastic thing in the world, but it's on my list to add callbacks to the property system for when these things get set. But for now, should mean that I should be able to put shadows, and I can already see it working. I turn up the intensity. you can see there's shadows now basically on the other lights as well, with a toggle for it. So yeah, that is basically why I wanted to go through this whole rigmarole of adjusting the reflection system so that these classes know what their parent class is, and hopefully that was interesting to some of you. I mean, maybe it's overkill, but it does give me a super flexible way now to at runtime be able to detect what classes I have in the engine, what classes the users made, and what properties they have and functions. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the stream, I think. I'm gonna go get some hopefully well-deserved rest, and yeah, I'll catch you all in the next stream. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.